So before they put me on the yard, you know, I'm like, they knew about my affiliations, they knew I had rank, all that. But I'm like, I ain't doing nothing, I ain't active, I'm chilling. Yeah. They're like, what? I said, man, I'm chilling. They like, no. They like, you can't just be chilling, like, you know, I'm like, bro, I'm chilling. Yeah. They like, did you get the okay? Because it's like when you don't have the okay, when you say, oh, I'm not an active member and all this and all that, they put you on the yard, something happened to you, they can be held like liable for that. Yeah. So they sitting there talking to me, you know, I'm trying to explain it. I'm like, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm chilling. They're like, you show, like, you got the okay to do that? I'm like, yeah, like, any yard I walk, I'm good. You feel me? So they went to him, and like, he was at this time, like, they had him in a hole, because it's like, whatever direction he pointed in, like,
that was it.
He got that much power. So they knew this. They went to him. They like, what's up with Lil Badass? You know, and at the time, like, I had grew like a relationship when I looked at him like a big brother. You feel me? And he good. He can walk a yard. Ain't nobody gonna touch him. Like, we pushing him out the door. It got to the point where, like, my homies like wanted to see me go home, so I ain't really had to do nothing no more. You know, they used to get mad at me for wanting to go do something. Like, bro, like, go home, you know. And they like, okay. They put me on the yard there, so I was on the yard there, and whatever. So they monitoring me. Like, okay, yeah, he chilling, he laid back. I ain't really doing nothing up there. I'm, you know, cause like I was fighting my case. So one day they wound up coming to get me, and they rolled me out. They rolled me to Battle Creek, Battle Me Creek. So
Battle Creek is only a couple hours away from here.
Yeah, I went there. First thing I do when I get to the yard, I call my mama, let her know they done rolled me to a lower level. She picked the phone up crying, telling me I was coming home. I'm like, what?
What was you thinking?
I done heard it so many times.
Yeah, you was numb to it then.
Like, so I'm like, what? She's like, baby, did she pass the phone to my lawyers? She like, don't tell nobody. My lawyer like, don't tell nobody, but shit, you might be coming home today. It's looking good. We working on it.
Today?
Yeah, she like, we working on it.
They
like,
playing with your emotions.
I want to be like, what? Today? For real?
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So I get off the phone with them. When I get off the phone, I go to check in with like some of my homies, let everybody know I'm on the yard and stuff. So when people get to see me, they like, badass, what's up? Because you got to remember, I had been in level 5 like 6.5 years. That's 23-1. Like, this is my first time on like a lower level where I'm able to be outside and move around. So I'm kind of happy. Like what, 5 minutes go past, they call my name over the, they call my last name, Prisoner Sanford. Then they say your prisoner number. And they like, you know, you got to report to the yard shack. The yard shack is like a little building that all the guards and shit be in. So they sit, monitor the yard. They're like, so I'm thinking like, damn, they done went in my cell. They done found, what's going, they trying to put me in a hole. What the fuck? I ain't did shit. Went, showed him my ID. So he hop on the radio. I instantly get nervous because I'm thinking something.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I see a whole bunch of guards come out. They tell my homies and I'm like, bag up. I'm like, what the fuck they got to bag up for? He like, man, he like, you got to come with us. I'm like, what I do? I ain't do shit. He like, yeah, I know you ain't do nothing. He like, you want to go home? I'm like, go home. He like, man, you got news, cameras, everything out there right now.
That probably was the best feeling in the world.
He like, man, you finna go home. So all my homies get to looking. Like, oh, bro, finna go home.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? They escorted me off the yard. So as they escort me off the yard with all these guards, they like, look, we got to make sure you make it up out of here. We don't want nothing to happen because we can be held liable. So guys trying to walk up on me like, bro, you good? Because they see me with all these guards. They like, bro, you good? What's up? Guards like, man, bag up. Man, he about to go home. He good. Like, badass finna go home. They took me into the unit. I spoke with the A-Russ. That's like the unit counselor. So they took me, he got me doing all this paperwork. He like, what's the address you going to? I'm like, man, this shit can't be real. Like, what? He like, yeah, what's your address? What's this? What's that? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Took me to my cell. I gave everything away. TV, MP3 player, like, only thing I took, shoes, I gave everything away. The only thing I took was my pictures and all my legal mail. That was it. Everything else I left. And they're like, come with us. They put me in a cell for like 3 hours, it felt like. I wound up going to sleep, waking up. As I was waking up, they was opening the door. They're like, come on, come with us. From there, they took me up front. So when they took me to front, it's called Control Center. Control Center is like where all the visits happen, and that's like the main thing for the prison. So they took me to Control Center. When I went to Control Center, I see my little brother and my lawyers. I'm like, shit. And they giving me some clothes. They like, put these clothes on. I'm like, shit. So I hurry up. Still had tags and shit on them clothes. And the clothes is too big for me because I came home skinny because I was a vegetarian in prison. I used to work out and everything. So
this dude done changed his whole. He made became a whole dude.
Yeah, and like when I go to walk out, I just see all these people lined up. And it was like the director from Lansing, like the warden, deputy warden, like all of them was down there, like shaking my hand, like, you know what I'm saying? It was so crazy. It was like some of these same people was just telling me I ain't gonna never get out. Some of these same people was just having me going, spitting in my all type of crazy shit. Now they looking at me like, you just ain't believe me a couple months ago when I told you, you know, I'm fighting this. It's awesome over there, but I wound up, I walked out. When I walked out, that's when all the cameras and everything was out there. And
that's dope, bro.
I couldn't believe it.
So, all right. So you get out. I don't even care about what the first thing you ate. What was the first thing that you like? What was the first night like not sleeping in a cell?
My first night. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Was it really like that?
It was amazing. It was. I'm gonna tell you, right? It because it was crazy. I had like when I was in prison, I had like developed like a relationship with like one of my lawyers. We got to kicking it, and like it turned into something. Okay. So like when I got out, like we got in a relationship, and like. It was just real because like,
oh, that's why it was amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's like,
you know, it's like
it's like, you know, then it's like she had came at a time of my life, bro. Like I ain't know like what the fuck I was gonna do. Like I'm like, bro, I'm going on 10 years in this bitch. Yeah. Like for something I ain't do, I'm going on 10 years. And you know, I used to always watch Dateline. I used to always watch CNN. And I used to always be like, bro, I hope they don't take me this 20, this 30, this 40. It's taking everybody. You know, because it takes some people 20 years, 30. And that's why I always feel blessed. Like every year we had this thing, what you call the Innocent Network Conference, right? And it'd be people from all over the world who have been wrongfully convicted. But we all come together every year. They had like workshops, all the attorneys, all the innocence projects. And like I'd be like one of the youngest ones at the convention sometimes. Dang. And I'd be blessed. Like some of the guys, like I know, like, you know, they lives is essentially gone. Like mine's really just started. But you. But most of theirs, like, is essentially. That's why when I first kicked
it with you and you told me how old you was, I was saying to myself, like, oh, you got a runway.
Yeah, like I got a 2-year-old son. Some of these guys getting out in their early 60s, late 70s and stuff. So it's just like.